and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
And Brad, physical therapist on the internet.
Hi folks, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, Bob,
Today,
of course.
Brad, we're going to talk about pivot transfers, pivot board transfers in the home and in the car. Just some of the basics here. If you got someone that you have to, that is maybe has had, they're weaker, they've got maybe a stroke.
Sure.
Parkinson's, total hip arthroplasty.
You might just have
knee.
a broken leg that you can't put any weight on of any age at that point. We're talking, it's this is one of those things that at family events I've had to go help because nobody else knew how to do it.
Right.
So
there's a lot of basics that make it very, very simple, but if you don't know them,
right, it can be dangerous. You could drop, someone could be on the ground because of it and get injured.
I literally remember my father-in-law, he was at the nursing home and his son, my brother-in-law, wanted to take him out for an outing.
Yeah.
And literally could not do it.
Sure.
He goes, we got stuck in the car. He goes, he couldn't get him out. To me, it was an easy transfer. Just
sure.
To do,
right. So, by the way, Bob, people are wondering about you. They're concerned. Because people care about you, Bob, I think.
This is going to indicate the weaker side.
He's not really hurt.
No, I'm not really hurt. By the way, if you are new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. Subscribe button is over there or there. Also, please like us on Facebook. We're real likable, aren't we, Brad?
Yeah, we're getting likable. Liked, I mean.
Because we are always giving away stuff. This week, we're giving away some exercise balls.
Yes, the big exercise physio balls. You'll see. We've got some good stuff coming up on another one.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started here, Brad. We're going to start off with a basic transfer.
Right, and typically someone in this condition is in a wheelchair. Okay, so we're going to go from a wheelchair to this plinth. We're going to do one from a wheelchair to a car. We may do one from a wheelchair to a chair. The concepts are all the same, the basics, okay?
Right.
Why don't you get in the chair,
You want me to start in the chair?
Yeah, let's start in the chair.
Now, one thing, do you want to show how to get the leg rests off, Brad,
right.
first? I mean, this is a basic thing.
This is a basic thing, but people trip on these. You try to step over them, and before things happen, you got someone on the ground. So get the leg rests out of the way. There's typically a place to push right in here, and they're finger pinchers, so be careful. We don't want you pinching your fingers. I've done it enough after 20 years.
Right.
I still have problems with some of them. You got to get them over to the side, and most of them you just lift up. And
show how to put it back on, Brad. That's the trouble to have. Show what people normally do.
If you try to go like this,
it doesn't work.
Sometimes people say bad things, so we don't want that to happen.
You have to go in from the
way
side.
over and line up the two holes, and then it spins right around. So push that lever out of the way, all the way over, lift up. There we go. We'll get the other one. And then the question is, where do you put them to keep them out of the way? We'll put them over here, but boy, in a bedroom.
The other thing, Brad, is that some of these chairs will have removable armrests too. And if that is the case, do take advantage of that. Move it out of the way too. So in some cases.
Right. Sometimes you need them to push off them, but if you got a bad arm, it doesn't matter. It gets in the way then.
If it's going to make the transfer easier, you take them out of the way.
And usually there's some buttons here and here, and they lift straight up and they come out.
These don't remove.
Yeah, these particular ones don't. So here we have Bob. We want to get him from this position to this table to do some exercises or to sleep or whatever it may be. His right side is affected. In this case, we're going to pretend he had a stroke, so his right arm is weak, his right leg is weak. So to get him there, the first thing you want to do, the rule is strong side inside. So his strong side is his left side. So we're going to put that in the direction he pivots. That would be the inside. So first thing I'm going to do, there we go, is get him over. Now, if he actually had a stroke, he may not be able to lift that right leg. So he's going to
I hooked the good leg under the bad leg.
Right, or you may have someone help. You need two people for this sometimes. So now his strong side
is over going to the side that I'm pivoting to.
Right, and typically I get pretty darn close as possible, and at about a 90 degree. In other words, I don't like to go at an angle like this. I want to get the chair here because it's less to pivot.
Yeah, if you go like this, I have to spin all the way around. I even go a little bit this way sometimes,
Sure.
Brad, especially if there's no armrest.
Right.
But if there's an armrest, you're gonna probably go that level.
Now the number one thing is lock those brakes. So make sure you don't forget to lock both brakes on the wheelchair, because if that wheelchair scoots out from behind you, both could go down. Okay, now the next thing is we need a belt. You really got to have a belt, a safety gate belt.
All right, I got my belt on right now. Brad.
Okay.
So, but you're gonna want a belt around the person.
Right.
You can use their belt or.
Oftentimes, if it is someone with a stroke, they may have one on, but if you've got a good leather belt on, that's fine. Okay, so lean forward, Bob.
The other thing, Brad, I normally have them do is scoot their butt forward first.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And they can do it one of two ways. One, they can walk their butt forward like this, or two, they can lean back and slide it forward like this.
Yep.
If they have trouble, sometimes I grab it, and pull like that.
Yep, exactly.
Don't pull them off the chair. So,
Yeah.
So, and then I have them lean forward.
Sure.
And now they're in the right position.
Right. Now, Bob's pretty tall. This is going to be a little awkward for me. I usually block the knees with mine because sometimes they'll come forward and out of control. So I'm going to control his knees with mine.
And sometimes I'll even turn their feet a little bit, Brad, so that they're already going this direction already.
Start the rotation. And I'm going to come back in here. Now, with the good hand, I'm going to say, can you grab my elbow or just above the elbow?
Yeah, that's what I always say, above the elbow.
Yeah. I'm going to get a hold of his belt, and I'm going to get his head. I always say, come right by my shoulder right there. There you go. Now, I'm going to reach over here and get a hold of the other belt, and then my body mechanics, I'm not going to be rounded. I'm going to get as straight as possible.
Now, the big thing is you have to allow the person to go forward. If you don't, they won't be able to help.
Yep.
If you're going straight up, they won't be able to help.
And
all right.
So then I'm going to say, on 3, we're going to rock and then come up. 1, 2, and up we go, and pivot, 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 and down. There you go.
So this was probably one of the more difficult transfers, one because I was tall, but we were going from a low surface to a high surface.
Right.
Obviously, if you have a bed that has adjustments,
right,
you're going to want to adjust it even lower than the surface you're coming from. And if you're going from the bed to a wheelchair, adjust it higher.
Exactly.
It'll be a lot easier.
Now, the thing is when you want to go back, you got to remember we want to go from the strong side that direction. So you have to move the chair.
Right.
To go back, we have to go this way. All right. So once again.
And the same steps, going to want to slide them forward.
Slide forward, rotate a little bit.
Rotate the legs a little bit. And now in this case, I can actually grab here sometimes, right?
Right, yeah.
Or here.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Either way.
Typically, I have the person look towards the way they're going. Actually, the last time we had you look the other way, but you can do it that way. This is a little better so they can see where they're going. 1, 2, and up we go. Pivot, 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 and nice down, down, down. And it really works well to squeeze and pinch those knees in there. I have a lot of control with that.
Again, obviously a lot easier to go from a high surface to a low surface.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So do we want to go out and show a car, Brad?
Well, actually, let's just do one thing, that if the person, let's go back to here. Have a seat, Bob.
Sure.
If the person has problems with their feet, they make a nice pivot board.
So yeah, let's say I'm unable to turn my feet.
Right.
With it.
So I'll show you what this does. See that?
Oh,
it pivots. That's why it's called a pivot board. So you don't have, the injured person does not have to worry about stepping at all. They just stand there, and it goes quite well. We'll show you. Okay, we're going to put your feet on there. In this case, you don't have to worry about the position of their toes.
Right.
Okay. All right, Bob, let's look this way.
So
there you go. Now they don't have to look at your face. So everyone in the YouTube land's going to be happier. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and up we go, and we're just going to pivot. Woo! There you go. Yeah, it's
that was fun.
Yeah, it works. That's a nice pivot board.
That is a nice pivot board.
I really like it.
You said it has a handle on it too.
Yeah, this is really a nice pivot. I'm even going to.
We don't even know the name
Safety
of it.
Sure.
Safety Sure pivot disc.
Yep. I really
Google it.
I've worked with a number of them. This is the nicest one I've worked with. I'm happy.
All
okay.
Right. We'll go ahead and do a car transfer.
You bet. Hop on the wheelchair. We're going to give you a ride.
All right. Okay.
All right. So now we're going to go from the wheelchair to the car. And no, my car is not this messy. We have this plastic bag here for a reason, because it works well to act as a pivot. They do make pivot boards, and they're typically soft, and they have cushion, and they're made out of cloth, and you can put those there as well. They work fine, but in some ways the plastic
Works better.
Works better, and it's a lot cheaper.
Because you can slide back that way easier, and this might stop you from sliding back.
You have to get this board out of there so they're comfortable.
Right.
You can just leave the plastic in. We'll go with the plastic this time, okay, Bob?
Yeah. And the other thing is, you want to make sure the seat is all the way back. That's going to help you make the transfer. Yeah, if it's forward, you're going to have difficulty getting their head in. And the other problem is, quite often you will not be able to go to their strong side. Now we're going to the strong side to get into the car, but we'll have to go to my weak side to get out of the car.
Right, you can't change the car.
You can't change it, yep.
The other thing that can be handy is open the window here. It gives you a place to grab, or the other person to grab. It's easy to do, and you do it, and if you need it, it can save a fall.
Right.
Okay, so actually, I'm going to use a pivot board on the ground and see how that goes. I'm going to get Bob a little bit closer. Be careful you don't scratch the car.
Yep.
See what the insurance is like. Okay, pivot board under here. All right. Now, it's really nice to have two people when you do this.
Right.
Nice to have a second person just to watch and help out. If you don't, that's okay. We're going to see how it goes. Bob, you're going to look that way. Your head's going to be on my right shoulder.
You're going to slide me forward.
Yep. I'll get this forward. Get things lined up. All right. I'm going to squeeze his legs with my knees. Oh, Bob, I got dirt on my pants. Oh, Bob. What is my wife going to say?
Oh, good Lord.
Okay, are you ready, Bob?
Yeah.
First, we're just going to stand up. One, two. Wait. You got to count together. One, two, and
three.
Up. Okay, can you reach over and grab something? Pivot. Get your bottom in there, Bob. Bottom in, bottom all the way in.
This is where you're going to watch their head.
Yeah, especially when you got a 6.5 foot tall guy. If not, you just bang it until it goes in. I'm just kidding. No, we're going to gently go underneath.
So this is where the slide really helps.
The handle up here, Bob.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Those handles really come in handy for these
wrong
people.
hand.
Yeah, wrong hand, Bob. All right.
And now, the garbage can will help, or the garbage bag will help slide, not the garbage can.
It really does work nice. It slides right in, and we're happy with it. Now. On this, obviously, this leg, if it was a stroke, would need a lot of help. You know, you're going to get down on your knees probably and get that leg in and over before you close the door and be real nice to the person, obviously. With Bob, it's a different story. I don't care.
So coming out, you got to reverse things. You got to push the seat back again, because for somebody short, you might push it up again. But
sure.
Push it back, and then you're going to go ahead and bring them out.
Right. So you're going to get that leg out first. If you got the weak leg, down.
I'm grabbing the handle.
There you go. Yeah, these handles are great. Bob, you're going to reach right over here to here or here, whatever works for you. Okay. So line up the pivot board. Again, make sure the brakes on the wheelchair are locked. Nice little trick is just keep them locked and just lift the back end up. You don't have to, it's a little easier. Get up close to the car.
It's generally a lot easier coming out of the car than going.
Right, if you got a nice new car, don't scratch the car.
And don't park next to a curb, because if I was on a curb right now, my feet would be up like this, and I'd have a harder time standing up.
Much harder. That'll make a big difference. So get on an even surface, or even going down is a little easier, but typically that's not practical. He's going to look that direction. Now, his weak side is here, so we have to be careful.
Yeah, a little more difficult.
All right, okay, let me get my hand in here, Bob. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
On 3, 1, 2, and up we go. Over, take your time.
The pivot didn't work that good that time. Do I have my feet on it?
Oh, it's the wheels on it. Can you reach back with your left hand? When he reaches back, now sit down nice and slow. We don't want to plop him down and hurt his back. There you go. All right.
That's a good lesson to learn. It was under the wheel, and it wasn't pivoting.
Right. So it wasn't the board. It was. I didn't have it set up properly.
Yeah.
So all right, now we can go have some ice cream.
All right. Thank you, Brad.
Take care.
Thanks for watching.